The almighty Etsy algorithm. Like oxygen, just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Or like Santa or Bigfoot. Shh. Today I want to help decode and simplify this mythical beast, and also give you some of the misconceptions to avoid when talking about the algorithm and search, so that you can understand how it impacts your shop and leverage it for future success. Let's dive in. Hey everyone, what is going on? Welcome back to the Handmade and Beyond podcast. I'm your host, LL, leader of the Handmade and Beyond community. Glad to be back with you guys as we are rolling into the holiday season. Hopefully you guys are prepared and getting ready for that. Usually traffic and sales should hopefully start picking up for you. If not, just continue to grind and work on your shop and get ready for 2023. Now is always a good time to start and work on your shop and optimize your shop and get ready for next year if you kind of missed the boat on this year. But traffic usually always picks up around this time. As this podcast is coming out, we are really, really close to the end of November, Black Friday, all that stuff. So make sure you are running Black Friday sale, Cyber Monday sale, and getting ready for the holidays as far as, Christmas, Hanukkah, that are coming in December as well. Today, I want to talk about an important topic and really a misunderstood topic, which is the Etsy algorithm. A lot of people don't understand it. A lot of people, it makes their brain hurt when they're talking about it or thinking about it. There's a lot of misconceptions with the algorithm, a lot of misinformation out there when it comes to it. So today I want to help kind of simplify it and decode it and just talk about the highlights and the important stuff that you need to know when it comes to your specific business, so that you can at least have an understanding of how it works, how it impacts your shop, and be able to avoid the pitfalls so you can see more success from the algorithm and make it work for you, instead of it being this mythic beast that is always in the shadows trying to take down your shop, so to speak. So before we get started, I have something that really pairs nicely for you with this episode. It's my Etsy SEO Success Guide. This is a really in-depth dive into a lot of things that I'm going to talk about in this episode in regard to SEO and the things that you can really do to give your shop a boost. All the best practices, all the strategies when it comes to the stuff that works with SEO in regard to what Etsy is telling you to do, and in regard to my experiences with it and doing Etsy and running shops for the last 9 years. So make sure you guys get that. You can go to handmadeandbeyond.com/Etsy SEO Success, free download, and it's a really good resource for you to have, print out, take notes, learn and implement in your shop. So let's dive in and talk about this algorithm thing. I think the best place to start is talking about what is the algorithm, simplifying what exactly this thing is.
The CPU is a neural net processor, a learning computer.
So it's not quite at the Terminator level yet, but according to Mr. Webster Man, it's a process or set of rules to be followed in calculations or other problem-solving operations, especially by a computer. Makes sense, right? Easy. That is like legal speak. So what it really means, to really simplify it, the number one goal of the algorithm is to present customers with the most relevant products that they have the highest chance of buying. This helps Etsy and hopefully you as a shop owner make more money. Etsy is, in case you haven't noticed, in it to make money. They are a business. They are a rather big business now, so money is important. The algorithm is important to helping them do that. So it's kind of twofold. It helps present customers with the best possible, the most relevant items they're more apt to buy, which will in turn make the customer buying experience better so they come back. Also, they will actually buy and make Etsy and you more money at the end of the day, which helps sustain Etsy, which helps sustain us, and we can all live in a big, happy, family, right? But that is the number one goal. So don't forget about it being this computer terminator machine type thing. Basically, it's a computer that has one goal: to give people products that they want to buy. That is the number one goal, and you have to work with the algorithm to help it reach that goal. And that's the things that I'm going to talk about in this episode, so you know how to basically optimize your shop so that you have the best chance of success when it comes to you and the algorithm and your shop. It's important to know when talking about the algorithm that it's nothing new. Most online platforms out there have algorithms, and it's most of the websites that you use on a daily basis. Facebook, Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Pinterest. They all have algorithms that are catered to their specific audience, their specific goals. But it's important to know that they are all different, with different goals, different objectives, different variables that controls the outcomes. Facebook algorithm is completely different than Pinterest, and Pinterest is completely different than Etsy, because they're all different platforms. They all have different audiences, and they all are navigated a different way. So you can't apply what you learn with one to the other. Yes, there are some similarities, but if you're really good at Pinterest, you can't apply those same concepts to Etsy and vice versa, because they are different. You have to cater them. You have to learn each one and cater to them, rather, so that you can have the best chance of success and optimize whatever you're doing for that specific platform. So today I am here to give you the ins and outs of the Etsy algorithm specifically, and the things that you can do to not only understand it, but actually optimize it for your benefit. The first area I want to talk about, and I'm going to break down the different areas that impact the algorithm, that the algorithm looks at, so that you know what to focus on when it comes to your Etsy shop. So since the main goal of Etsy is to match customers with the most relevant products to them, it's important to know what the algorithm looks at to do this. So the first is keywords. By keywords, I'm talking about what keywords, what words you're using in your title, your description, which is new. They just added that not too long ago. Whatever keywords are in your description, the algorithm can look at now. Tags, what keywords are in your tags, and also alt text. This is maybe something that you haven't heard of before, but alt text is the text that you're putting in your pictures. So you can, if you go to your pictures, there's a little pencil. You click on that, you can write alt text in there, and that's really catering to the blind community. But it's also enabling you to describe the pictures, to put keywords in there describing the pictures, which in turn the algorithm can read, review, and use that information to display to the appropriate audiences for the blind community and beyond that. So it's important to utilize all of those resources and all of those keyword opportunities, so that you can give yourself the best chance of the algorithm matching you with people that are searching for items related or exactly on those keywords or in those keywords. So this is giving you a good chance of success. This is the number one thing that you can do to really help the algorithm showcase your item and show your item to potential audiences out there. This is why it's so important to do the proper keyword research to find the best keywords for your audience. If you're doing keyword research, you can see which keywords are getting the most traffic, which keywords are getting the most favorites. And if you use Allura, which is my favorite keyword tool, you can also see which keywords are bringing in the most sales. Doesn't mean that you're going to have the same results, but if you're selling something that's pretty close to what's bringing in thousands of sales a month, the chances are, if you're using the correct keywords that are relating exactly to your item, you're going to get in front of that audience, and you can swipe some of those sales as well. You just have to get your products in the game, so to speak. And if all the other stuff is right, you're going to have a really good chance of success, a really good chance of getting more traffic, which will give you a better chance of getting sales as well. So the goal is to give yourself a leg up on the competition by using the correct keywords, by doing keyword research. Very, very important. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is listing attributes. So these listing attributes are basically all, depending on what you're selling, what category you're putting in, which categories are important too. Some of your items can go in multiple categories, so you got to make sure you're putting your item in the right category. And then whatever category you're populating will give you different listing attributes: size, color, holiday, material, different things like that. So it's important to fill out all of your listing attributes, all your applicable listing attributes, because people can filter search results by attributes. You have the ability to do that. People can search in the search bar, and they can also filter by listing attributes if they want to search that way and filter out results. Also, whatever listing attributes you're putting in there can be used by the algorithm for keywords to help rank your listings and show your listings to appropriate audience. So it's twofold. It helps the algorithm, A. B, it helps you not get filtered out from customers filtering their search results. So this is really important, and another thing that you can do to really help your listings perform better. The next thing is also important. All these things are important. It's pictures and video. Not only does pictures help customers choose which item to click on, your video helps them also. If you have quality video, they're going to be more apt to click on your item to see the rest of the description, the rest of the pictures, to be able to decide if they want to buy that item. But it also gives the algorithm important data to work with when it comes to who's looking at your item, how many clicks it has, how many favorites it has, how many sales it has. So your pictures will give you a leg up on competition if you're displaying your stuff the right way, taking quality pictures and video. Also, if you're utilizing the video spot and you're utilizing all 10 picture spots, it shows the algorithm that, hey, this is a complete listing. It has all the information in there to be successful. Also, customers will see that. So again, twofold, two-pronged approach to getting customers to interact and buy your listings, showcase your item well, but also give the algorithm the data to basically see that, hey, this is a complete listing. People are interacting with it. I'm going to show this more to more people or a wider audience. So this is something that can really help you. Moving on to the next component of the algorithm is the free shipping guarantee of $35 or more. Love it or hate it. I'm not going to get into it. Some people love it. Some people absolutely hate it. This will give you a small boost when it comes to the algorithm in search. Etsy has told us as much. How much of a boost? We don't really know. They just know that it gives us some of a boost because customers like free shipping. It's always a good strategy to have some type of free shipping incentive built into your shop. If $35 doesn't work for your margins, then don't do it. It's not going to kill your shop. People think that it's a make or break deal. No, you can still be successful without offering $35 or more in free shipping if it doesn't work for your margins. At the end of the day, this is your business. You have to run it your own way, which makes sense for your margins and all that stuff. But I highly, highly encourage you to at least run some type of free shipping incentive. Maybe it's $50 or more, $75 or more, $100 or more. That's usually probably the max unless you're selling very, very expensive stuff. But customers like free shipping incentives. If they're if your free shipping incentive is $50 or more, they're at $45, they're probably going to find something else to buy that's a low cost item to get them over the hump so they don't have to pay for shipping. So it's increasing your revenue, getting them to purchase more. So it's always a good strategy whether you want to do $35 or any type of free shipping incentive. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about this component that can help give you a little bit of a boost. All right, so the next area is a big one, and this is reviews. This is something that helps you with the algorithm because the algorithm can see this shop is getting multiple 5-star reviews, so they are offering a good customer service. So we want to send them more customers over a shop that has an average of 4 or 3-star reviews. So it's important in that way, and it's also important because this is forward-facing. Customers on every one of your listings they click on every shop that they click on, they can see the average reviews. So they are seeing and looking at this, and it's helping them determine whether they're going to buy or not. Again, two-pronged approach. Customers are seeing it, the algorithm is seeing it. The better you do, the more potential traffic you're going to get, the more potential conversions and buys you're going to get, because reviews are everything in this day and age. If you don't know that, now you should know that, because most people, when they go to restaurants and they book hotels, they are looking at reviews. They are looking at what other people are saying to make their decision. Reviews are everything, and they are very, very, very important. The more reviews you have on Etsy, the more positive reviews you have on Etsy will play back into getting you more traffic and more sales. So keep that in mind. Focus on getting solid reviews and focus on getting more reviews, especially early on in your journey. Again, you can use tools such as Allura that helps you send out automated email messages to basically for customer service purposes and for review purposes, and it works all within the guidelines of what Etsy allows in regard to communicating with customers that have purchased from you. So check that out. It'll help you get more reviews and 5-star reviews and offer better customer service as well. And that brings us to the next area. Another big area is shop sections. It's important when setting up your shop to make sure you're filling out all of the shop sections. You got to have a banner image, a logo image. You should have an announcement in your announcement section. You should have an about section. You should have a policy section. Those are the main ones that you need to make sure that you have filled out, because A, it makes your shop look more appealing. It makes your shop look more legitimate, more trustworthy. And B, the algorithm can see this shop has all their shop sections filled out. This shop does not. All things equal, the algorithm's going to send traffic to the shop that has completed shop sections, because they're going to know that it's going to be a better customer experience. It's going to look more legitimate. It's going to be more trustworthy. So take the extra time. Please fill out your shop sections. Unbelievable how many people don't have shop sections filled out. It's just something that you need to do, and it's only going to help you. If you don't have it done yet, go back and make sure you're doing it. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can go back and update it. You could go back and change things, but just get your shop sections in there. Please do that for me. It will definitely help you out. I promise you. And that brings us to the next thing that I want to talk about when it comes to the algorithm, and that is your listing boost and time. So when you do a new listing, you get a small algorithm boost. And that basically the goal of that is to rank it higher in search so that the algorithm can see, are people going to click on this? Are people going to favorite it? Are people going to buy it? And slowly over time, that boost dissipates and you'll sink back into your normal rank, your normal search results, where you're going to fall when it comes to customers looking for that product. So if you do good when it comes to the boost, you're going to continue to do good. If you do bad, then you're going to start ranking further and further and back in regard to search. But along the same lines, it takes time to be able to do that. So that's where people don't understand. The algorithm needs time to categorize, to index your listing, to show it to the right audience with that boost. So you have to sit back, release the product, and wait a couple of months to see how it does, and not make changes and not mess up what you've already done in terms of how the algorithm is perceiving that listing. So just know you're going to get a small boost that's not going to last forever, and then you're going to have to give it time. Usually 3 to 6 months is a good time frame to kind of see how that listing is really going to perform before you should consider making changes. The listing's performing good, please, for the love of God, don't make changes. Don't mess up a good thing. Don't get greedy and think, wow, I'm getting a decent amount of sales in this item. Maybe if I make some changes, I can get even more sales. No, wrong. Chances are you're going to dive bomb that listing and sink the ship. Don't touch it. keep your filthy fingers off that listing. But yeah, just keep that in mind when it comes to new listings, the small boost that you're going to get, and the timeliness of the time factor in regard to the boost. All right, that brings me to the last area that I want to talk about in regard to things that impact the algorithm. And this is probably the biggest thing that people don't understand when it comes to the algorithm. And that is the customer relevancy and personalization of the algorithm. What I mean by this is just because you see your item ranked, whether you're using a third-party software to see the ranking or you're checking the ranking yourself on your desktop. A lot of people will search for their item. They'll type in keywords on the search bar. They'll see if their item is showing up on page 1, page 2, page 3. You can do that. However, it's kind of irrelevant because of the algorithm and how the algorithm works. It really kind of takes the generalization out of rank. And what I mean basically is every customer is different. So you can have one customer where your item will show up on page 1 and another customer where your item is going to show up on page 10 according to their habits on the platform. Basically, the algorithm looks at their past purchases, their clicks, their favorites, what they've looked at before. The algorithm knows everything about them, so it wants to basically optimize their search results for them. Again, goes back to giving them the best, most relevant items so they have the best chance of buying. That's the only thing the algorithm cares about. Whether that is showing them your listing or showing them someone else's listing, that's very similar. So keep that in mind. It's really hard to tell what your items are going to rank, what page they're going to rank, because every customer is different. Every customer is located in a different area, different country, different state. The algorithm looks at all that stuff. So just because you're seeing it on page 1 doesn't mean that everyone else is going to see it on page 1. So while rank is important, it's really hard to gauge where your items are ranking. The best thing that you can do is focus on high quality keywords, doing that keyword research, and look at your stats, how your listings are performing over time. If your listings are getting a lot of visits and a lot of sales, they're performing well, they're ranking well. That is the stats are telling you that. So don't get all wrapped up so much in the rank aspect. A lot of people still talk about it, and it's kind of a little bit outdated because the algorithm is so diverse. It has so many different variables, and it can look at each customer individually and show them different items. So that is why it's important not to really focus as much on that as it is the keywords and the stats that your listings are bringing in. So if someone's telling you, hey, I can get your item to rank on page 1, or this is what you do to get your item to rank on page 1, it's really kind of hard to be able to determine that if it is ranking on page 1, because the page 1 is different for every single person. So there's things that you can do to try to get your item to rank better, but you can't really say doing this will get your item to rank on page 1. Focus on keywords, focus on these other things that I'm talking about in this episode, and that will get your items to rank better, to be shown to more people, which is the ultimate goal. The other thing I want to mention really fast is keep in mind too, this list, while this is the known items, this isn't the end all be all list of things that impact the algorithm, because Etsy they don't show us everything. They keep some items close to the chest. They're always testing in the background, trying out new things, and there's things that the algorithm looks at that's secret that they don't tell us about. And that's the same with every algorithm out there for all these other third-party platforms that we use on a daily basis. So keep in mind that there are other things and there are other changes that will come. It's inevitable, but if we focus on the main things, we can still make a huge impact as far as how our listings are doing, as far as how our shop is doing. The last thing I want to talk about today is algorithm misconceptions. So there's a lot of misinformation out there. You're kind of shifting through like, hey, who should I listen to? Is this legit? Is this not legit? So I want to go through some of the main misconceptions so you guys know what not to do and what's true and what's not true when it comes to the algorithm and how it impacts your shop. The first one is renewal strategy. This is something that's severely outdated, and some people still talk about doing it. And like I mentioned earlier, when you do a new listing, you get a small boost to see how your listing is going to perform. Back in the day, people would use this or misuse this, and they would just continually go in and renew their listings every day or every couple of days to get that boost. So Etsy caught on, and they basically took that away. The algorithm can see, are you renewing listings that aren't selling, that aren't new? We're not going to give you that boost. So they fixed the algorithm, they enhanced it, so that is no longer a good strategy. If you're doing that, you're just paying the renewal fee, it's not helping you. You're just paying Etsy extra money. I fell into this trap years ago when someone was teaching this strategy, and I figured out it didn't work after spending hundreds of dollars renewing my listing. So terrible strategy. Don't do it. But you just know if you're doing new listings, you will get a boost automatically. But you should not have a renewal strategy for your other listings. A waste of money. Don't do it. The next one is the Star Seller badge. This is the badge that they rolled out not too long ago. Basically, so you can become a star seller if you're shipping items out fast, responding to messages fast, and also if you are getting 5-star reviews. This, as of now, does not impact the algorithm. Etsy has said that they are not considering this in search. It's basically just a badge, more forward-facing customer service type badge. So I would still try to work on being a star seller. In the future, they may consider it in the algorithm, but as of now, they're saying it does not impact you in regard to search. So just keep that in mind. If someone's telling you that it's impacting you, it's really not impacting you in regard to search. It may impact you in regard to what the customer sees, but most customers don't even know what Star Seller is. They're looking at reviews first and foremost. So don't fret if you're not a Star Seller yet. Keep working on it, but it's not the end-all be-all for sure. The next one is rapid SEO changes. Like I kind of mentioned earlier, when you're doing new listings, just make sure you're letting them sit for a little bit to see how they're going to perform. 3 to 6 months. If you roll out a new listing and it's not getting any visits, and in a week you're changing your SEO, and then in a week you're changing your SEO, and you continue to do that, you're just dive bombing that listing. You're resetting the algorithm every single time you do that. So you're just helping that listing rank worse and worse and worse because it's going to be up there longer and longer and longer. The longer it's up there without visits, without sales, it's just going to rank worse and worse and worse. And the algorithm doesn't know what the heck's going on with it because you keep changing it. So let it sit. It's the hardest thing to do, but I promise you it will help you see how the listing performs, give you the data you need to make decisions down the road. So don't get antsy. Let it sit. Don't make continuous changes early on. The last one I have for you is the keyword dump. A lot of people do this still, which is surprising, but in their descriptions, especially once they announce that your descriptions are being looked at as far as Etsy, they've always been looked at in regard to how Google pulls your listings. So that's why it was always good to have good listing descriptions that were written in a human way. But some people are just doing a paragraph of keywords. They're just listing out keywords, not sentence form. That doesn't make any sense. Not a good thing to do. The algorithm can see that you're just doing a keyword dump and it looks super, super spammy. It absolutely will not help you. So not a good strategy to do. The best strategy in your descriptions is to write it like a normal human, talking about your item, who your item is good for, describing your item, any specific instructions, any ordering instructions, using some value statements in there to showcase your item in a positive way. So that people are more apt to buy your item. And naturally, if you're doing it the right way, you will have keywords in there that the algorithm can pull from, that it can help categorize, index your item, and show it to the appropriate audience. That is it, guys. Those are the misconceptions. Those are the simplified ins and outs of the algorithm. So I tried to decode it for you. Hopefully it is a little bit simpler for you to understand. Just know that it's going to constantly change. It's going to constantly evolve. But if you're doing things the right way and you're focused on your shop and you're not trying to game the system, so to speak, you're just focused on the best practices and continuing to do the things that are important, like I talked about above, you're going to do just fine when it comes to your performance on Etsy for the long term. Maybe not now, but if you're starting to change and implement these best practices, and learn and grow with your shop, because it is a journey. It's not overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes patience, delayed gratification, like I always say. But if you're doing the right things, ultimately you will get rewarded if you stay the course. So that is it. Hopefully that helps you guys out. Hopefully it demystified things for you. And make sure, if you haven't already, download my Etsy SEO Success Guide. I promise you, lots of good stuff in there. It will absolutely help you understand SEO better, the algorithm better, and just the best practices of selling better, having more success on Etsy. Get that at handmadeandbeyond.com/Etsy SEO success. That is it for today. I'll be back really soon with another good episode for you guys. Have an amazing rest of your day.